Hello, everyone. Thanks for jumping on early. We're going to let people trickle in here as we wait for folks. Just please feel free to type into the chat. We'd love to hear. We were just talking about what we were getting ready for Christmas and Thanksgiving and any other holidays that you are celebrating this year. So let us know if you have done your shopping for holidays or if you are doing anything fun for the holidays. Go ahead and type into the chat. I see that Lynn's doing some traveling for the holidays. Gonna go see some family.
Yep, I am originally from Minnesota, so heading back for Christmas, and I've learned not to trust my brother when he says he's driving through the worst of the storm. Because last time we did this, I got the worst of it.
Oh no, I do hope that you travel safely. My family came out 2 years ago, so we switched. So one person hosts and one person travels. And so I will be hosting this year and she'll be traveling. But last time she traveled, it was a little bit into December when she came out, and she ended up hitting a pretty big snowstorm here in Nashville on the way out. So she was stuck in Kentucky for a day or two on her way back to Ohio. So it can be tricky if you're driving or traveling. Feel free to type in chat. We'd love to hear what plans you have for the holidays while we wait for another minute here for our other colleagues to join us. Andre, what are you doing for the holidays? Traveling, hosting, relaxing? Oh, you're on mute.
So we actually host quite a bit. So we have a Friendsgiving coming up, and then we have the Thanksgiving at our house. And then we go to my wife's parents a couple times, and then we have a family giving with my family, which is very small. So it's a lot of eating, a lot of talking, a lot of football, good times.
You said some of my favorite things there.
The
All
best
right.
thing is I have 4 kids, so getting them all under one roof in the same room at the same time from ages 25 to 5 years old is the coolest thing.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's so wonderful to have everyone together for the holidays. All right. So we are at the top of, well, not the top of the hour. It's at 11:30 here Central Time. And so we're going to get started. I do see that Lisa is also staying here for Thanksgiving, but going to Knoxville for Christmas. Oh, wonderful. And I'm guessing, Lisa, you say the baby, is that a nephew, a niece, who's the baby? Be curious. Well, while we wait for that answer, I would like to, my great nephew, oh, precious. I would love to introduce you all to our speaker for today. So thank you all for joining us. We're really excited today to have Andre Young with us. Andre Young is actually a professional speaker, author, and leadership trainer, and the founder of You Evolving Now LLC. He works as a mental health therapist, or he did for 19 years, played sports at every level from high school all the way into professional sports, and has had an employee, has been an employee, a business owner, and been self-employed. So lots of different work experiences that we are going to learn from today. And on top of all of those great accomplishments and experiences, has also written 5 books that focus on leadership and work-life harmony, and really is focused on allowing and really fostering that professional and personal evolution of the people that he works with. So very, very excited to have Andre joining us today for the Leaders 7. We want to encourage you all today to really ask questions in the chat. There is a Q&A feature. You can type into the chat. We will be here. We also have Lynn, one of our MT SHRM ambassadors, joining us today. So we will be monitoring the chat as Andre goes through his presentation today. He is an engaging speaker, so we encourage you to engage with him and ask him questions. He's a wealth of knowledge and just a very fun person as I've got to know him in our exchanges. So Please type in the chat Q&A feature. We welcome that. Throughout the presentation, we will also leave time at the end of the presentation as well, just to answer any questions that we didn't get to, or anything else that you're curious to ask Andre. I also want to share with you at the end of the presentation, you will be getting a survey when you exit. And we do encourage you to share that feedback for MT Sherm. We'll be sharing that feedback with all of our speakers as well as they present for us. But we love to hear what's working well for you as our members and continue to improve this experience for you. So please share that feedback with us, and look forward to some of our upcoming events coming into, I know it's a busy season, but it's always great to take that time for yourself, your own development. We have a great session coming up on really preparing and setting yourself up for success in December for that January when we turn around to 2025. Can you believe it's here? It is here. So with that introduction, I'm actually going to go ahead and pass it off to Andre. And thank you. That's all for me.
All right. Well, hello, everybody. If everybody can see me, happy Tuesday. I am so excited to be here with you guys today. This has been a long time coming. I hope that everyone has had a great morning so far, and I look forward to making it even a bit better with what I get to share with you here today. Guys, welcome to the Leaders 7. It's the 7 professional languages of leadership. It's the 7 languages that your people want to hear, need to hear, benefit most hearing, and leaders, you will enjoy hearing it back from your people as well. So before we jump into all of that, I'm big on gratitude. So I'd like to give a huge thank you to Rochelle, Garlo, Lynn, everybody that has something to do with pulling this together. Thank you. Middle Tennessee Sherm as a whole, thank you. And last but certainly not least, you guys. You guys listening here today and checking in today, the truth is you are busy and you could be anywhere doing anything else. Responding to your 100 emails of the day, putting out fires, or on vacation in an island somewhere. So the fact that you've chosen to be here, thank you. And let's do our best to make this impactful and not simply entertaining. I want to give to you today meaningful, easy to use concepts that will enhance your leadership and work-life harmony, and also that of those that you are leading. Now, we talked about the 7 languages, but before we start talking to our people, it's important that we know who our people are. If you don't take anything from me today, please take this. I call it a leader's marriage. If you're married or ever been married, you know that a great marriage is way better than a bad one. And as a leader, we can be great leaders when we marry what we want to do and give with what the person receiving your effort needs most from you right now. That's how we make an impact. So to do that first, before we start speaking to our people, we're going to go over the 5 types of employees, who they are, and what they need most from you right now. And as I go through them, you're going to see visions of employees dancing in your head. And I know you've probably been all 5 at one point, and I know I have too. Once we know our people, then we're going to get into the Leader 7, the 7 professional languages of leadership. And then briefly talk about how we speak them in casual times, walking through the office, walking through the door, in our emails, in our team meetings, in our one-on-ones. And then how do we have it in tough conversations? Now, I'm honored that I get to do this training, a bigger version of it, 3 hours, 4 hours, sometimes 2 days with role plays, you name it, around the world. So this is a condensed version. So we're going to jump in. Now, Rochelle gave me a fantastic introduction. Before we start, I want to reintroduce myself because there's 2 big things that I've been that allows me to share this with you here today. So yes, I am a professional speaker, author, leadership trainer, and founder of You Evolving Now and all of that great fun stuff. But at the core, I've been 2 big things. Number 1, I've been the best employee ever at one point in my life, says me. At another point in my life, I was the world's worst employee due to burnout. I burned out of a job, a career, and a passion that I thought I would retire from. And I'm going to tell you, I was right about every single thing that I was saying. But I was so wrong about how often I said it, who I said it to, how I disconnected from my people, my team, my passion because of it. And had leaders, my bosses, the organization know what I was about to tell you and teach you now, it would have made a difference and impacted my life. It would have been of influence. It would have protected me. It would have been of positive impact. And it would have set high standards and expectations because that's what leaders do. All of those things. And now that I know it, I've been able to do it as leaders moving forward in my business and in the world and now in trainings. So let's buckle up as we go in. And again, I am not going to be a talking head up here. I have a lot to give in a little bit of time. After I share, I want to ask you, what was your biggest takeaway? Where are you at? And I want you to put it in the chat. So let's dive in with the 5 types of employees. I'm going to say the 5 first, and then we'll go back through. Number 1, the inspired and motivated. Number 2, the new and unknown. I'm laughing because I know what story I'm about to share with you. Number 3, the steady stream. Number 4, the here, but not here. And then lastly, number 5, the grouch. So I can already hear and feel the giggles through the screen when I said the grouch. Hold on, we'll get to him or her. Let's rewind and go back to the inspired and motivated. The inspired and motivated employee is just what it sounds like. And I also call them vacuum eyes. When you start talking about the business, the company, projects, metrics, whatever it is, these people blink less. Their eyes are wide, big saucer vacuum eyes, and you can see the business going in and filling their soul. They're inspired, they're motivated, they're eager. Now, I hear so many leaders, so many companies say they want hundreds, if not thousands, of inspired and motivated. And I say, please be very careful, because they want something from you too. They want the definition of leadership. They want to be led. They want to be impacted. They want to be influenced. They want opportunities. They want to be protected. So as a leader, what does the inspired and motivated need most from you? They need 3 things. Well, 2 things. They need protection, but we protect 2 things. We have to protect them from us. Why? The inspired and motivated wants to do work. They want to move on. They want to move up. So they tend to say yes. So when you go and you say, hey, Lynn, hey, can you help me with these 3 things? Lynn is nodding yes before she even knows what those 3 things are. And as leaders, sometimes we do a poor job of protecting our people because we are ignorant. We are unaware of their list. Because Lynn is inspired and motivated, I may have no idea how much is on her plate. And I naively believe that Lynn's job is her duties plus my 3 favors long. And that's not the truth, because Rochelle, Mike, Tim, Bob, Gary, they also asked Lynn to do 3 things and she said yes. So Lynn is about to burn out and leave, or burn out and stay. Maybe Lynn's list is too short and I haven't been asking about it. I haven't been doing my one-on-ones and she's about to bore out and leave, or bore out and stay. We also must protect the inspired and motivated from themselves, because these may be the individuals that struggle, that don't take vacation, that are taking their laptop to the beach with their families for vacation, that may be on their 17th marriage and near heart attack because they're working so much and so hard, and emailing on a Saturday and CCing people about it. And we must protect them from themselves, from either overwork and burnout, but also they must be able, as a leader, you, I, we, they must be able to sell their position. Why would anybody under them want to be them when they see them working at that pace and capacity. Leaders, it's your job to sell your position. I am not saying don't work hard. What I'm saying is work hard and have great work-life harmony that makes people want to be you, want to follow you, want to mimic you. The other thing that we must protect is their dream. Asking people is one of my big 7 interview questions. One of them is, what's your dream? And if your dream is related to the job, then great. If not, great. What is it? At the most, I get to help you with it. At the very least, I get to ask you how you're doing. And then everybody wants to talk about their dream. Lastly, with the inspired and motivated, please hold people to your high standards, because your inspired and motivated are watching. And once they find out that they are doing everybody's job and you are okay with it, watch what happens. Employee number 2, the new and unknown. It's exactly what it sounds like. They are new to your team or organization and you don't know much about it. Now, what I know, 2 things about new employees. I do not have statistics. I am not a big number guy. This is what I know. The new and unknown, number 1, wants to do 2 things. Number 1, they tend to stick around who they initially met when they got to work. Therefore, isn't it so monumentally important that we as leaders get our new and unknown around our inspired and motivated and our steady streams, which you'll learn about next, as quickly as humanly possible. I like the term the 3 Ps. Get your new and unknown around your positive, passionate, and productive as quickly as humanly possible. The other thing that new and unknowns like to do, they want to continue doing what they were initially trained to do. So when we get our new and unknowns around our grouches, our shortcutters, our negative Nicks and Nancys, that's what they learn to do. It's going to be hard to change that behavior 12 months later in the annual review when we sit down with them. It's not fair to you. It's not fair to them. It's not fair to the organization or the customer or client that they are caring for and leading. Employee number 3, the steady stream. Guys, the steady stream is the employee that is fine right where they are. Too many times as leaders, we put too much stock and we put so much effort into those that are just like us. They're inspired and motivated and they want knowledge and advancement. The steady stream may be the employee that shows up every day, clocks in on time, clocks out on time. They do their job. These are the people that make up a majority of the bell curve. Most organizations can't exist without them. We don't have enough grouches to sink the ship, and we don't have enough inspired and motivators because there's not enough money or promotions to go around. Who do you think the inspired and motivated count on? Steady stream. Not everybody wants yours, 100 emails a day, your promotion, and they might take more money, but they don't need more money. So how do you best lead and care for someone that doesn't need a raise or promotion? You speak the 7 languages, which we'll get into in a second. Next is the here, tricky. Next is the here, but not here. Abracadabra, right in front of your face. You see them in front of your face or you see them on the screen, but you know they'd rather be anywhere else. Now, there's 2 types, the negative type and the positive type. And I have to be very honest with you, I've been both. The positive type of here, but not here, is the person, the employee, that has different dreams and aspirations than the company. It doesn't mean they have bigger dreams or better dreams. They simply may want something different and you know it. My last job as an employee working in mental health, I walked into the interview and I said, "Hi, I'm Andre Young. I'm a professional speaker and author. However, I need a job. My wife wants to build a new house, and my business is doing part-time money good, not build a new house money good." But right then, at that time, I had 12 staff. I have 12 staff. How dare I not give you what I would want them to give me? I'll be the best hire you ever hire, but I don't plan on being here for long. Now, I'm not saying you go into an interview like that. However, I could not say that. And the gift that I got back is that, one, I didn't have to hide my dream. They knew what I was doing on my off working hours. And every now and then, my boss would say, "Hey, how's your speaking going? I'd love to come and check it out." Bing, big smile. And the 2 times that year that they asked me to come in off hours, they knew what they were interrupting. And they had a respect for it. I was also asked, and there was a company that brought me in. They flew in all of their international leaders, and they said, "Andre, I want to introduce you to Mary." And we're happy and sad all at the same time. We're sad that she's leaving us, but we're happy that she's opening up her own bakery. And for the past year and a half, we've been taste testing her goods. Here, but not here, positive type. How do you think Mary felt about them when she left as a high-level executive she was? Do you think she kicked back good people? So the company was happy, she was happy, and her dream lived. Now that here, but not here, the negative type. Guys, you're in HR, so this is no surprise to you, but it's a surprise to a lot of people. There are a lot of people out there actually trying to get fired. Sometimes we have to let them. The here but not here, the negative type, are people that are constantly behind, constantly making the same mistake. They are actively trying to get fired. And you know, like I know, by the time you start the disciplinary process, do you know how much they've gotten away with already? They do. And then once the disciplinary process starts, it's you got to do this, or you got to follow the rules. So by the time somebody gets fired in America, daggone it, they've earned it. Let them go. Here's the truth. Their 40% effort is higher than somebody's 30% effort over at company B. Let that person be an asset at the other company. And now you have a spot to fill for somebody that's going to come in and give that 90 to 100 the new company way. As long as us as leaders don't keep that spot void and having our team do more in their absence until we fill that spot. Let's be mindful. Last but not least, employee type number 5, the grouch. Now, I worked with a grouch, and it was one of the best grouch lessons that I've ever learned, and it's changed me forever. I'm sure you have visions of a grouch. Maybe you're a grouch, and that's okay. I've met a lot of grouches that I actually enjoy, because grouch doesn't mean they're bad or you're a bad person. It's typically something going on in life. So my last job as an employee, I worked at Bob's Discount Furniture. Go Bob's. Surprisingly, one of the best, no, the best leadership team I ever worked for. Now, I had left mental health, and for 3 years, I needed a frontline job that would allow me flexibility during the week to launch my business fully so I can be on my own. And my last stop was Bob's Discount Furniture. And it was very, very humbling, because Barnes & Noble was connected to Bob's. And one of my second book was at Barnes & Noble. And people would come in and say, "Oh, aren't you that evolving guy?" And I'm like, "Yeah, want to buy a couch?" And then people would come up and I'm signing autographs, because they would go and get my book. And then I'm selling mattresses and couches and signing autographs. And it was a great story. And I learned at Bob's that everything I was teaching from leadership down worked from employee frontline up as well. So at Bob's, I met the biggest grouch of my life. And she stood about 5'7", and in heels, she was about 6 foot, right in my face, dressed to the nines every day, and she was about soaking wet, 98 pounds. And she came in every day, and she came in with a blanket tucked under her arm. And she would sit down on the couch in front of the sliding doors where people would come in, and she would pop that thing open, tuck it up to her neck, slouch down in her seat, and go, this is on recording, my face being, and this was her. And one day I almost lost my patience. The next day, I slid up next to her and I said, what brings you in every day? Because you don't seem like you like it very much. She told me that she was an executive in a company years ago. The company folded, let her go. She was older, so her kids were grown. The money was good. She didn't really need the weekends. Bob's was treating her okay. But right now, she has 8 tumors in her stomach and she's dying. Feel that. And she needed to keep the job and keep showing up to work to maintain her health benefits for her upcoming surgery. Wow. And that, I see you, Sharon, here, raising your hand. And that right there really knocked me for a loop because February 13th, 2013, I laid on a floor dying from a perforated ulcer. My kidneys had shut down to 20%. And I'm a medical miracle. The doctors kept telling me that I survived. And the pain I was waking up every morning and going to bed with, I can't imagine what she was feeling and going through, and then coming into Bob's to sell you, I, us, a couch. Now, that does not give anybody a green light to be a grouch. However, as a leader, marrying what you want to do with what people need most, we didn't hire them a grouch. They did not come into the interview all grouchy, and we said, yep, this is exactly who we want. This is the culture fit we need. They became a grouch. So the first thing as leaders, we must ask ourselves, did they become a grouch due to my poor leadership? Thank you, Rochelle. Did they become a grouch based on my poor leadership? Or did they become a grouch from something else? And maybe it's something we can help with, be flexible with, all while maintaining high standards and expectations. Guys, that's the 5 types of employees, from the inspired and motivated, the new and unknown, the steady stream, the here but not here, and lastly, the grouch. I want to take a second before we jump into the 7, and now how do we speak to our employees? What was your biggest takeaway? And you could put it in the chat, or somebody can unmute if we can do that and share an answer. But what was your biggest takeaway from the 5 types of employees? And Sharon, if you do have that question, I'd love to hear it.
Sharon, I can bring you off of mute if you'd like to speak aloud. I don't know if you accidentally raised your hand. I'll let you come off mute here. And feel free to unmute yourself if you would like to speak. Otherwise, feel free to type into the chat or raise your hand as well if you wanna share your takeaway.
As you guys are putting things into the chat here, I'm going to share my screen because I want to go through the 7. Oh, I see things coming through. Rochelle, if you can help me out here too.
Yeah, it looks like we have Sarah just responded, the new and unknown being exposed to the inspired and motivated steady streamers in their onboarding. I haven't thought that deeply on how it truly affects them.
Absolutely. Through some type of mentor program, shadow program, training program, because from the new and unknown, very quickly before we get into it, when I was still in mental health, I was new to a job and I was going to shadow this woman for 2 weeks. And we stood in the hallway and the big boss said, this is what we do around here, the big boss speech, and walked away. The person I was going to shadow for the next 2 weeks looked at me and said, well, that's what she said. This is what we really do. And she proceeded to show me. And for the next 2 weeks, I went out with her. I did all of these different things in the community, all of these different things. Until this day, I don't know if what she told me was right, wrong, legal, or illegal. All I know is that's what she told me to do. Try to change that behavior 6 months, 12 months later.
Oh, I like this one as well. That came through too. You have to talk to your employees that you know what they are going through, regardless of what type they fall into. I love that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And now that's a great segue when we get into how do we now speak, because knowing who somebody is and speaking to them are two different things. You can know and not do. And you can do and not know. That's dangerous, right? So now let's get into the 7. These are the 7 languages. I'm going to share my screen without clicking anybody off here. Let's do this right. And if Rochelle, if I can get a thumbs up. All right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go back. Bear with me. We are good to go. Boom, boom. Okay.
You
So
see,
here, did you see the grouch? There's the grouch. All right. So guys, here's the 7. These are, and let me preface this. As I go through them, as a leader, we all have to be able to speak all 7. However, each of us at our core have a top 2 that we actually are. And that can change over time. What I started out with professionally is no longer what I am now. It can change over time. We got to be able to speak all 7. Each one of us has a top 2 at our core, and so does each of your people that you are leading has a top 2. When we lead with their top 2, we will always have their attention and their ear. Now, this may sound very similar to the 5 love languages. You can raise your hand or put in yes in the chat if you know the 5 love languages. And I believe the 5 love languages is like the Bible of love. It's awesome. If you don't know what it is, you can go to Amazon, don't do it right now. You can get the abridged version, 76 pages, take it in the bathroom with you, and you can come out a brand new person that knows how to have great relationships with everybody. My issue is that the 5 love languages do not transfer to professional languages and task-based things. So the premise from Gary Chapman says, the way you like giving love or receiving love is typically the way you give it. Same thing here with professional. Now he says, gifts, quality time, physical touch, words of affirmation, and words of affirmation. So words of affirmation, gifts, quality time, physical touch, and acts of service. I'm sorry. Now, here's the case. In my personal life, I love physical touch, quality time. At work, I better not be physically touching on anybody. That's the quickest way to HR, and my wife does not play that. And quality time, I didn't want to spend a lot of time with my leaders. I wanted to be left alone to do my own thing. Therefore, my love languages do not apply to my professional languages. So what are the professional languages? Number 1, goodie time. This is the employee that's highly motivated, inspired, impacted by goodie time. It's that pizza day, that hoagie day, the chocolates on your desk, whatever it is, they will fist fight for the last jelly donut. They love goodie time. Next is quality minutes. This is the employee that wants a few minutes of conversation with you that has nothing to do with work. Funny thing about this, the person you think needs this the least is usually the one that circles it. Be mindful. Next is recognition and affirmation. This is the employee that feels inspired, protected, impacted by that pat on the back. Hey, Rochelle, great job on this. It really helped with that. Next is knowledge and or, let's put in the and or advancement. This is the employee that feels protected, inspired, and impacted by an opportunity to move up. They want knowledge and advancement. However, remember that steady stream? Some people want to be great where they are, but they don't want to move up. I was doing some work in a blue collar factory with training, and the machinist was a great machinist, and they kept trying to promote him. And he said, I don't want the promotion. Can you just fix the machine because it keeps breaking? So some people want knowledge, but they don't want advancement. But everybody who wants advancement will need more knowledge. So knowledge and or advancement. Next is incentives. This is the employee that's motivated, impacted by being able to earn something for a great job done well. So are there incentives, whether this is company competition, whether they meet a certain metric, maybe it's something as small as gift cards out in the community for things. These individuals like competing with others or themselves. Next is flexibility. This is twofold. A person that likes flexibility either wants to be able to work in a flexible manner. When COVID happened, how many people said, I told you I could do this from home. I told you we didn't need to do it this way. Flexibility. And or they want their ideas to flexibly matter and be woven into the process of things. They want their ideas to matter, or they want to work in a flexible manner. And last is respect. Now, I have a confession to make. When I came up with the Leader 7, and I knew that everybody would have a top 2 at their core, I naively thought that everyone would pick respect and something else as their top 2. I cannot tell you how wrong I was. Just because it's mine and just because it's one of yours doesn't mean it's going to be everybody else's. However, respect had the longest drop list. When I asked employees what an organization could do to show them respect, they said 2 things, and then I added 2 things. The first thing that they said that a company could do to show them respect was, do I have the tools to be successful? Don't ask me to get it done when you know the process is broken, the machine is broken. You hired me, knew I didn't have the training, didn't get me training. You have the tools to be successful. Number 2, they said, ask, don't tell. Manners matter. There's a boss out there, and I won't say the name of the company, but when he wants coffee, he emails his assistant the capital letter C. Could you imagine? I feel you through the screen here. Needless to say, he goes through about 5 to 7 assistants a year. Respect. Pleases and thank you matter. Think of a police officer, they pull you over for speeding and they treat you with respect. They don't have to. And when they do, you're like, oh, okay. The ticket still stinks, but wow, they were nice. The 2 things I added was email etiquette. You ever get a sharp email from someone and your first response, in your head at least, is, who do you think you're talking to? Email etiquette. So I hope that Rochelle and anybody I do business with can attest to this. When I send something out, it's, hey, happy Tuesday. I hope everything is great, exclamation point. And you can vary that, make it your own language. 2 sentences about why we're reaching out, and then, hey, I look forward to hearing from you. Have an awesome rest of your day, exclamation point. Heck, you can copy and paste some of that if you want. I don't, but you could. You can put something in your signature, something. The other thing about respect and email etiquette is time of day. You ever have a boss tell you, don't mind that email that I sent at 10 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock in the morning. I just need to get it out of my head. You don't have to respond. As if that wipes away any of your anxiety every time your phone rings or dings? What am I walking into tomorrow? I know Lynn's up for that raise and promotion. I know she responded. I need to. Or that email or text you sent at 1 o'clock in the morning. Let's get really adult for a second. You don't know the relationship difficulties of your employees. Let somebody's phone go ringing, dinging. Let my phone go ringing and dinging at 12 o'clock at night and watch my wife get out of bed and say, who's that? I'm like, I don't know. Oh, we looking at this together. Do not be a fight in somebody's bedroom that they don't have the power to come and tell you to knock it off. Be mindful. There's more to this respect, and I call it where's your back? Because as leaders, fortunate to have an office, a door that you can close, a desk you can sit behind. Body placement in the room matters. I'm 6 foot, 210 pounds. For some people, I'm big. For others, I'm small. Where I stand in the room to come up to have a tough conversation with you, with my back to the door so you can be upset and have to fight through me to get away from me, it's not comfortable for some people. Make sure where your back is, and as a former mental health therapist that walked into suicidal and homicidal ideations in rooms that were unpleasant, where you were positioned mattered. Let their back be to the door. Therefore, if they have to get away from you, you know where their office is. You can get them later. You know their email address. Let's be mindful. So guys, that's the 7 languages. And I want to ask you, we're going to go through them one more time. I know this is aggressive, this finger pointing at you. But my question is, what's your top 2? What are your top 2 right now? Mine is flexibility and respect. In the comments, I want you to put down your top 2. Are you goody time, quality minutes, recognition and affirmation, knowledge and or advancement, incentives, flexibility, or respect? So as you guys are doing that, I'm gonna get a drink of water here. I wanna see these come through because I can't wait to learn more about you. Awesome. Oh, keep them coming. Look at this, knowledge and respect, flexibility and knowledge. As you guys are putting these in, I want you to notice how different everybody is. If it's this many differences so far, can you imagine how many differences are on your team? Throughout your whole organization. And it's natural for us to lead with our language. Now, at the end of this, I'm going to give you my email address. It's going to be a slide. It'll be my email address and then a QR code to get in touch with me. I want to give you, you reach out within 48 hours, I will give you the Leaders 7 sheet. It's a 1 sheet of paper, and then it has the language, and in 1 sentence explains it. You can print it out or email it to your employees. Within 30 seconds, they can read it, circle it, put their name on it, hand it back to you. And now you know everyone's language on your team. Warning, do not ask their language and then not speak it to them. I am not suggesting that you speak their language to them daily. Everybody is too busy for that. However, when we have our one-on-ones, when we have our team meetings, if you know that walking around the office at 2 o'clock or on your Zoom calls, have an opportunity to speak their language to them. The impact will not be denied. So, thank you. I love it too. Thank you so much, Jerry. Now I want to ask you again. You just shared which ones are you right now? Which language resonates with you the least? You have goody time, quality minutes, recognition and affirmation, knowledge and or advancement, incentives, flexibility, and respect. Right now in the chat, which one resonates? There we go. Which one resonates with you the least? Not that you don't like it, just resonates with you the least. What's the last thing you think of? Goody time, goody time, goody time, goody time. Respect. I see it. Awesome. Keep them coming. As I figured, I have done this since 2017 and in every industry so far and around the world. And what I get the most is what we're seeing here. Typically, as leaders, what resonates the least, what leaders enjoy the least is goody time and incentives. It's not to mean that you don't like it. It's the one that resonates the least. And this may be the individual you struggle with the most. Especially when you go to hand the Leader 7 sheet and they circle it, and oh my goodness, they circled the one that you don't like. Oh my goodness, the person that circled it, you don't really like them that much, and they might not like you that much. We don't always get to lead who we like, and we don't always like everyone we lead, but that one that they circled quality minutes. What the heck do I say to them? So I'm going to share my screen, and I want to share how do we, in these next 10 minutes, how do we speak this in casual times? And I want to give an example of how to speak it in tough conversation. So let me share my screen again. And I wish I could see your guys' faces. You guys are awesome so far. I can see it, the level of engagement, and it'd be great. Uh-oh, I stopped sharing. Bear with me. Okay. So here we go. How do we speak this in casual times? Let's go back to the beginning. Goody time, really quickly. I want you to understand, and we need to preface this. As a leader, we will never be able to satisfy everyone with goody time. I don't care how great a leader you are. You got pepperoni. They said, what happened to the sausage? You got sausage. They said, where's the hoagies? You got hoagies. Somebody says, well, where's the healthy snacks? Therefore, you're going to speak goody time. Do it in a way that fits your pace. So what I would do, and I'm suggesting, reach out, survey, ask, what do people like as goody time? And whatever they share, okay, now we can put this on a rotation. However, that rotation needs to fit a timeline that's not going to make you resent your people or the task. Is this going to be weekly? Is this going to be monthly? Is this going to be spontaneously? Is this going to be quarterly? Whatever it is, you set it, you put it in your calendar, you stay true to it and rotate. I once had a boss come in and she said, everybody pencils down or laptops closed. We're going to go down to the bakery, donuts and coffee on me. Woohoo! You would have thought she was handing out $1 million bills or we won the Super Bowl, confetti coming from the ceiling. 4 or 5 adults skipping down to go get coffee down the city street. Spontaneous goody time. Who knew? Quality minutes. What if this is not your thing? And if it is, are we speaking their language, not yours? I call something the POW, the POW, the positive of the week. I start all of our team meetings, and you can start all of your team meetings. Sacrifice the first 5 minutes. And it goes like this. Okay, hey, everybody, we're going to be doing something new for our team meetings. I love to hear your positive of the week. I'm going to share mine both professionally and personally. Hey, Rochelle, Lynn, and Jerry, can you guys get yours together? Now, I start with mine. Hey, my son just got in the game he's a varsity quarterback. He's a junior. The senior got hurt. He went in the game and did amazing in the playoffs. True story. And I just got asked to speak in Topeka, Kansas, so I can't wait for it. Those are my professional and personal. So, hey, guys, Rochelle, Lynn, and Jerry, in 90 seconds, can you share yours? You go first in those meetings because, one, to give people time to think of how to answer and a model for how to answer. You also give a time frame because your chatty Cathy or chatty Carl will make you dislike that I told you how to do this. Lastly, we get an applause. Give them applause, because I don't know anybody going home to a standing ovation today or any day. So give them an applause, and it's going to feel so great. Now, very important. Now, when you see this person in the hallway, in your team meetings, in your Zoom meetings, now don't you know what to talk to them about? Anybody that comes and asks me how's my son's football season, I can't wait to tell you about it. Hey, how'd Topeka, Kansas go? Or what flight do you normally use? What airline? I'm all in. Use the power. Next is recognition and affirmation. So important that we share the bigger picture with our people. Hey, Sherry, you did a great job with this. It really helped with that. Always tie it back into what they did and how it helped the business, the team, the customer, the client. So many people are walking on with blinders on, and they're zoned in to do their job or to simply get through the day. Make the picture bigger. Knowledge and or advancement. What sounds better? Hey, Lynn, hey, you got a second? Can you help me out with this thing? Or not to be used in a manipulative manner. Hey, Lynn, you mentioned your language was knowledge and advancement. Let me show you how to do this so when I'm not here, you know how. Lynn is much more willing to help, to learn. Hey, let me show you mentioned your language was knowledge and advancement. Let me show you how to do this so when you're up for this promotion, when you're ready, you know how to do it. Incentives. You may not like incentives, but dang on it, they circled it. So I have a friend that earns 2 trips to the islands a year based on metrics that he's surpassed. If you can send people to the islands, by all means. However, incentives is my least favorite. I'm going to work hard every day, regardless of the incentives. I don't chase the incentives. Doesn't make him right or wrong or me bad and good. It doesn't matter. So have something big, or what about a $25 or $50 gift card to somewhere in the community out to dinner or for coffee or for pizza or the movies? Remember, you don't know what people are going through. I went through a divorce years ago, wiped me out financially. I had very little money, $30 to feed my kids every 2 weeks, 3 kids. $25 gift card goes a long way in making somebody feel like a provider. Or having date night money, and then what happens? Somebody says, "Where'd you get that, dad, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend?" "Oh, I got it from work for." And it allows people to, maybe it turns around the TGIFers on a Monday. Flexibility. My last job at Bob's, I had a boss come up and say, "Hey, Andre, we love you here. We want to keep people just like you. We want to get you promoted." And he started to sound like Charlie Brown's teacher. Wah, 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 wah. It was a Saturday, and I was missing my son's football game as we were speaking. And I was looking at him, and I said, "Well, if I get promoted, I still get to be you. And you're here on a Saturday wearing a suit, and I still be missing life." What was he talking to me from? Knowledge and advancement. Had he known I was flexibility, he would have said, "Hey, Andre, we want to keep great people like you. What do you love about being here, and what would you fine tune?" That's how you speak flexibility. What do you like or love about ... and what would you fine tune? Always make them say something good first. And fine tune means things are good enough, but you're still willing to remove your ego and invite theirs in. I would have said, sales is the closest thing to sports that I've seen in a job. I don't mind coming in here and putting my name tag on and earning my worth. Let's go. What I would fine tune is that we have rovers on Mars. We can't get floating weekends at Bob's. Instead, we had no conversation, and I quit soon after. Lastly is respect. We talked about this before. Email etiquette, personal leadership. When we show up to work with our head up, eyes up, smiling, greeting, being our best and doing our best. From the simplicity of how we show up. Never underestimate the power of your smile, your eye contact, your greeting. I have articles and in my newest books coming out is talking about a leader's greeting. Personal leadership builds connection. And it never ceases to amaze me how much more your people will do for you, with you, because of you, and forgive about your request and some organizational dysfunction and change when they have a great connection with you. So, guys, that's how we speak it in casual times. I want to give one last example before we break out for questions. In my bigger trainings, I talk about PLIP and PIP. How do we effectively use this in tough conversations? I'm going to break one down and we're going to use PLIP. And if you're writing this right now, it's PPLIP. Number one, P is preface. So I want to say, hey, Rochelle, hey, it's great having you on board if I'm onboarding you. Or, hey, I just attended the best training in the world with Andre Young. Yuck, yuck, yuck. And we want to preface, it's great to have you on board. We're excited. We're going to have a lot of wins. You're going to do a lot of great things, and we'll be sure to celebrate. As with anything, there might be some hiccups. And I wouldn't be doing my job if I don't ask some questions or say some things that's tough to hear, but it's all for the point of you being great. Is that going to be okay? Beware who says no. So now 3 months later, let's say Rochelle is showing up late to work habitually, right? I know, Rochelle, you wouldn't do that. I'm just picking on you. And I know her language is knowledge and advancement and incentives. I'm just going to say that, making that up. So I get to go, hey, Rochelle, you got a set? Hey, you remember that time when I said I might have to ask some questions, but I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't? She's already affirming. All you have to do is say, you ready? And you will watch Rochelle and those brace for impact. So I prefaced it. Now I want to say something positive. The next P. Hey, Rochelle, when your work is doing really well, like you're meeting metrics, the team loves you, we enjoy having you here. You mentioned, now we get into the language. You mentioned that your language is knowledge and advancement. It's going to be hard for you to advance with you showing up late so often. Issue. Can you help me to understand what's going on with that? Not what's going on with you, what's going on with that. So I tie the language. You mentioned your language was incentives. It's going to be hard for you to reach that incentive with you showing up late so often. Can you help me to understand what's going on with that? We have no idea what Rochelle is going to say. I've heard people say, oh, well, it's been traffic, or hey, I just got a divorce. Hey, my mom is sick. Hey, I suck at life. I got to put my alarm clock on the other side. You're right. I have heard it all. Now, the plan, the last P. And Rochelle, thank you for being so honest. I had no idea that was going on. What do you feel like you could do so this is no longer an issue? Because I'd rather not have this conversation just like you. As leaders, we don't lead with your solution. Let them say something. And Rochelle might say something that blows my doors off. Fantastic. Let's do that. Rochelle might say something that needs fine tuning. Or remember that here but not here that's actively trying to get fired. Rochelle might say, look, Lynn keeps showing up work way before me, so you need to talk to her before you talk to me. Or whatever, I don't care. Now you come with your solution. So moving forward, we're doing this, and this is the direction that we're going. And we document. There's other languages that don't make sense to say their language. You mentioned your language was goody time. I'm not going to be able to feed you, Rochelle. You mentioned your language was respect. I'm not going to be able to respect you, Rochelle. So that's why we have PLIP and PIP. If you want to know more, I encourage you. The books are there. I'm about to share a link with you. Check it out. I'll put the website in the chat here as well. I'll do that right now as you do that. And then I have a QR code for you. So if everything's in my books, you reach out to me at the email I'm about to give you. I will reach out within 24 hours personally, me, not my team, me, and I will give you the Leader 7 sheet. But you got to promise that if you use it with your people, not only are you going to use it, but you're going to use it annually. Because you don't want to be my old boss at Bob speaking somebody's old language. Okay, so I am going to stop talking. I am going to share my screen for the last time. And Rochelle, if there are questions, your monitoring skills are the absolute best. Dang it, I did it again. Hold up. Here we go.
We do have one question in the chat. What was after preface positive language?
I'm sorry, can you say that one more time?
Oh, it's preface, sorry.
Oh, yes. So we have preface, the preface statement. Then we have the positive, language, issue, and plan. PIP is everything without the language. So I'm sorry. Here we go here. So here is this QR code here. Will take you to my website. It'll give you my email address, website, everything. It will connect us email wise. So if you have your phones, I'll leave this up for a brief second. And if you need me to go back, please let me know. This QR code is for everything from books, the workbook that has the 7 and more, and also the Evolving Lead online training program. It's a 4-session cohort for C-suite and middle management, 4-session cohort for frontline, and the leaders library with shorter ongoing lunch and learns. So everything is here, guys. And I believe we have a few minutes for any types of questions.
Yeah, what other questions? If you have a question, feel free to raise your hand and you can come off mute or type it into the chat and we'll get those questions answered while we wait for that. One, we just want to thank you so much, Andre, for being here. Incredible. I have a page full of notes for myself, and I'm so excited to continue to learn more too through your resources. So we will be sending out any other resources as well that Andre has to share with us through our follow-up email. You'll also be receiving your credits, the certification credits there. We're getting a lot of thank yous in the chat. This was great. Everyone was very engaged.
I'm typing in the answer to the question here too, Krista.
Perfect. But we just want to thank you all so much for being here. Make sure you register for any sessions that are coming up for MT Sherm. Like I said, we have a great session coming up to set you up for success for January. That's in December. If you had any questions, we'll stay on for a few extra moments here. But otherwise, thank you. Please provide your feedback. We look forward to seeing you at our next session. I'm not seeing too many questions in the chat. I think everyone's really excited. So many thank yous in the chat.
That's awesome. It was great talking to you guys, and I look forward to the emails to connect further, and perhaps we can even get on the Zoom and officially meet and chat. I'm a big Zoom person. Rochelle, you know that. I love the chat, so hopefully I get to hear from a lot of people, and thank you, Middle Tennessee Sherm, for having me. You guys are amazing.
Yes, thank you so much for being with us. This was incredible. And like Andre said, reach out to him to get more information, to chat, to just pick his brain. Like I said, he is a wealth of knowledge. And we have had some really amazing, robust conversations. So we will hope that Andre comes back and joins us again in the future. But other than that, you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And thank you, Lynn, for being on as well and for supporting us through this. Everyone have a wonderful day and a wonderful holiday season.
All right, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.